limiting the number of items in the result set. You can limit the number of items in the result set by setting the limit parameter to the maximum number of items that you want. For example, suppose that you query a table with a limit value of 4, and without a filter expression, the query result contains the first 4 items from the table that match the key condition expression from the request. Now suppose that you add a filter expression to the query. In this case, DynamoDB applies the filter expression to the 4 items that were returned, discarding those that do not match. The final query result contains 4 items or fewer, depending on the number of items that were filtered. Counting the items in the results. The query response contains the following elements: scan count and count. Scan count is the number of matching items to the key condition expression before the filter expression, if present, was applied. Count is the number of items in the response result. If you used a filter in the request, then count is the number of items returned after the filter was applied. If the size of the query result set is larger than 1 megabyte, scan count and count represent only a partial count of the total items. You need to perform multiple query operations to retrieve all the results. Capacity units consumed by query. If you query a table, DynamoDB consumes read capacity units from the table's provisioned read capacity. If you query a global secondary index GSI, DynamoDB consumes read capacity units from the index's provisioned read capacity. In the case of a local secondary index LSI, DynamoDB consumes read capacity units from the base table's provisioned read capacity. DynamoDB calculates the number of read capacity units consumed based on item size, not on the amount of data that is returned to an application. Read consistency for query. A query operation performs eventually consistent reads by default. This means that the query results might not reflect latest changes due to recently completed put item or update item operations. If you require strongly consistent reads, set the consistent read parameter to true in the query request. Paginating query results. With pagination, the query results are divided into pages of data that are 1 megabyte in size or less. An application can process the first page of results, then the second page, and so on. To determine whether there are more results, you need to query with the debug mode in order to examine the low-level query result and check if the result contains a last evaluated key element. In this example, the query also limits the number of items per page using the page size parameter. The query result contains information in the last evaluated key. This indicates that there are more results data available for the operation. To retrieve the next page of information, you will need to set the exclusive start key value to the last evaluated key value and query again until the absence of the last evaluated key in the query result. When there is no last evaluated key, you have retrieved the final page of results.